What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So another day, another show and another second place finish for Andrea Presti. And that happened at this year's China Pro. Now I'm sure, just like me, majority of you guys who watch this sport on a regular basis, we did not even knew the name of this guy who just won China Pro. And the name is Shen Chen, who just made history by beating Andrea Presti and getting his Olympia spot. Now, I saw some comments and people saying that just because the show was happening in China, that is why he won that show. Now, that is a totally false narrative. He won because he was the better bodybuilder. He had way better legs than Andrea Presti. And although Presti's quads, they have improved over the years, but still it is such a vulnerable look for him, especially when he stands next to someone who has amazing quads and amazing proportions top to bottom. And that is exactly what Shen brought to this year's China Pro stage. He had amazing balance top to bottom. Now Presti might have been more polished in the upper half, but the imbalance was taking away from his physique so much. Now even the side leg of Shen that had so much detail and visible size advantage. Now for a guy who was totally unknown in the bodybuilding community, for him to win a pro show and getting his Olympia spot, that is very impressive. And surprisingly, the man is very complete from every angle. Even the back, which is always a major weakness for many pros out there, that was looking pretty damn solid on this guy. So a huge congratulations to Shen for winning this year's China Pro. And I must say, the more you look at those top two comparisons from this show, the more you realize that he 100% deserved this win. And it was a mistake on my part not mentioning him at the prejudging. So hard luck for Andrea Presti one more time. But a clear message has been given to him by the judges that they want to see bigger legs on him. Now let's take a look at the results of this year's Dubai Pro in the 212. So all the hype that went behind Nihat Kaya, that was well worth it. So he delivers a sensational performance and beats a true veteran of the sport, Angel Calderon. And it was quite expected, especially after the prejudging, as Nihat Kaya had a combination of everything. The size, the symmetry, the conditioning. He was bigger than last year, but at the same time, he did not let that added muscle mass, that added size, ruin any of his lines. And he was undoubtedly the most aesthetic guy in that 212 lineup. And that is saying something, given the fact that we had a guy like Christian Zagarella in there. So there is no exaggeration in saying that you are looking at the future 212 Olympia champion. Meaning this is a guy who is potentially gonna challenge Keon Pearson at the Olympia possibly as soon as this year. And he's probably gonna win the Olympia title once Keon switches over. Or who knows, maybe he's gonna switch over to the men's open, as the man is already maxed out for that 212 weight cap. So this win over Angel Calderon simply means one thing, that at the very least, he's coming for a top 3 finish at his first ever Miss Olympia in October this year. And Patrick Tuor will now have 2 guys in that top 3 in the 212. And he will be aiming to bring Nihat Kaya in a much improved and better look, so that he can give Sean Carrida a run for his money for that second place. So hard luck for Angel Calderon. But his wider midsection, that becomes a major reason on why he lost this show. Now you have got to give a lot of respect to Angel Calderon for being gracious in defeat. So he himself posted this picture on Instagram after the results of Dubai Pro, congratulating Nihat Kaya. And now that the scorecards are also out, it was just 1 point difference that separated both these guys. So Christian Zagarella came in third. So congratulations to Nihat Kaya. And now people are gonna give him the respect that he 100% deserves. And I must say that a new star is born in the 212 division today. And he's gonna bring a lot of excitement in this division from Turkey. Now let's talk about the men's open bodybuilding results. So as expected and predicted, Behrouz Tabani becomes the 2 times Dubai Pro champion. And I'm gonna say well deserved. He came in very polished, very aesthetic, and he brought the condition. But it wasn't straight first place for him. And that was the case both at the prejudging as well as at the finals. as displayed by the scorecards here. But that being said, he did win this show quite comfortably. So William Bonac is such a legend. Another second place finish by him at Dubai Pro, the same as previous year, which allowed him to take home $50,000, which is more than double the amount compared to what he won at Detroit Pro. So a very successful run by William Bonac comes to an end, and now the focus that is gonna be on the Olympia this year. So the way William Bonac has been able to bring up his legs back to that size that he had a few years back when he was in his prime, that is so unprecedented in the whole of bodybuilding. So Tony Burton placing third, that was kind of like the biggest shocker here, because the way he was positioned, especially during the prejudging, it kind of seemed like that he was gonna be in fourth place. Although Tonio said he's coming for the win, but after tonight, no one is gonna doubt Tonio Burton as a top 10 Olympian ever again, because I mentioned this so many times that majority of the experts out there, they had him outside of that top 5. I mean, just have a look at the scorecards. Him and William Bonac, they were separated by just 1 point. That is how close the judges thought Tonio was in comparison to someone like William Bonac, and that literally showed in his physique too. Now he isn't a smaller guy by any means. His comparison with someone like Rubiel, that goes to show us how big he truly is, or the illusion that he creates with his insane proportions. Now I personally think he has top tier aesthetics. His quads are so damn insane, and honestly, he was comparing very well with both Behrouz Tabani and William Bonac, except for the side shots. Now he had the best abs and thigh in that entire lineup, so it seems like a loss for Tonio Burton, but his trajectory, that is gonna go upwards from here onwards. So Nathan Diasha was undoubtedly the most disappointed guy at this year's Dubai Pro. He was visibly upset when the placings were announced, and this will once again be one of those decisions that Nathan do not agree with. He was pretty open about the idea that he got screwed over because of some personal preferences by the judges. Now you guys can have your say on this, whether Nathan doesn't get a fair look by the judges, especially in some shows. And he's at a point in his career where the youngest physiques, they have gotten a lot better, because that was one of the best versions of Nathan Diasha, and still he lost to multiple guys, including Tonio Burton. Now you bet he never imagined that this would happen, but the fact is it did. So those financial ramifications of placing fourth, they're also not very pleasant. So from third to fourth place, the prize money went down from 25k to 5k. So this too would have hurt Nathan Diasha up tremendously. Now throughout his career, he was getting this feedback to tighten up his back, especially the hamstrings and the glutes. And this was the best his hamstrings have ever looked. And he was very dry and very detailed. And I am not making a case for Nathan Diasha placing higher, just pointing out some facts that he came in a lot better than last year. Now, I do not think he could have ever beaten someone like Behrouz Tabani or a very improved version of William Bonac. So what do you guys think is the reason for Nathan not placing as per his own expectations, despite bringing a super package at this year's Dubai Pro? Do you guys think he's being screwed over by the judges? Do let me know in the comments below. So Muhammad Fada came in 5th, and his work continues with his new coach Patrick Tour towards his next show. Now it was a very impressive look by Muhammad Fada. He's a young guy and he keeps on improving, and his chances of getting to the Olympia stage, they are very bright this year. So Rubiel Mosquera came in 6th. He had the mass and he was very professional in his posing and presentation, but he just wasn't tight enough to beat some of these top guys. But still happy to see him back on the stage. Hopefully he continues with his diet, and just imagine him going through another 4 weeks of strict dieting. I think that look is gonna be totally insane. So Michael the Bull got the win in Classic Physique division with perfect scores, and he got a huge payday of $70,000, the biggest paycheck of his career. Now he was just way too good for this kind of lineup, and you have got to admire his consistency. That man is never off. Now Luca Rieger, he gave him a very fair fight in terms of the condition, but the difference in the overall muscularity and the density, that was simply way too much, especially for a young kid who is just 23 years old. So a very well-deserved first place finish for Michael the Bull. Now Wahid Badepi, a top 10 former Olympian and runner-up at this same show from last year. He wasn't even in the top 15. Now that's brutal. Now a huge shout out to Michael Dabol. And now he can have some well-deserved rest before the Olympia prep begins. And I have got to say Luca Rieger. He can be a very strong force in classic physique in the upcoming years, as long as he has some room to grow to get bigger. Overall, this was a very well-managed show, and this will certainly become one of the biggest shows of the season in the upcoming years. So what did you guys think about the placings? Did you guys agree with them all? Also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.